Hello, everyone. This is a special edition of the Real 50 Over 50 because I am going to introduce you to our 100th member. So, everybody, meet Kamie Lehmann. She's our 100th member, and I'm so excited to welcome her into the community. And she is just absolutely incredible. So, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about her, and then we are going to get into a conversation. And yes, we are not live. We're recording this. This is also our first recorded session. So, Kamie is the dynamic force behind She's Invincible podcast school. She's a seasoned podcast host, coach, and owner, and she's no stranger to success. Her podcast launched at number 42 in iTunes under business and entrepreneurship category. It's a testament to her marketing prowess. And she's got a knack for humor and creativity, and she helps entrepreneurs use podcasting to elevate their brands, turn their shows into mic drop marketing experiences, and then she turns entrepreneurs into podcasting pros one mic at a time. She is also a brand new author. So please welcome Kamie as our 100th person. And since we're not live, if you have questions, comments, anything you want to add, please tag us, whenever you're listening to this, and we will come back and we will keep the conversation going. So welcome, Kamie, and welcome, yay, 100.
I know. I feel like where's the button where the crowd roars, right? Oh my gosh, this is so fun. And it's just such an honor to not just to be here. Oh my gosh, I'm just thrilled to be here, but to be the number 100. Thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me to be a part of this and to be the 100th and especially on a book launch week. Oh my gosh, I feel like I died and went to heaven.
And and it's International Women's Month. We're going to post this on International Women's Day, which is Friday, March 8th. And there's just so much to celebrate.
Yes, there is. And I couldn't be more excited about that as well, because I am passionate about helping women to step into their greatness and live the life of their dreams. And so I feel like this is so appropriate to put this out on the Women's Day, where I think every day should be Women's Day. But
And it
we're
is in
gonna
my
we're gonna
world.
do it. Yeah, but we're gonna do it big on this one, right?
Yes,
In
yes,
2024.
yes. So I'm going to just dive right in and ask you what happened when you turned 50?
Oh my gosh. Well, everything happened, right? Things were breaking on my body. Uh, yes, there were so many things. Um, I had some health issues when I turned 50 that I had to fix. And I had some churning on the inside. My purpose was kind of finished. I outgrew my purpose at 50.
Mhm.
Let's see, the youngest got married right around that time. And so I was an empty nester. I had been a work from home mom because I wanted to be home with him. And then he wasn't there anymore. So it was like that I had outgrown the purpose, wasn't really sure what I was going to do, was a little bit lost. And honestly, that was the beginning of the best part of my life. So as scary as that was, and I had to really work through that. It really was the beginning. It was where all the doors opened. And I really got to see where honestly, it became one of the most selfish seasons of my life because it was like my turn. I had
Mhm.
taken care of everybody else for all those years. And I really felt like, wow, what do I want to do? Because it's finally my turn.
Mhm. Yeah. Unfortunately, my turn came during 2020.
Yeah.
My son was supposed to go to college, and that was kind of like pushed off a little bit.
Yeah, that's a hard.
Yeah,
There's no way around.
yeah.
2020 was hard.
2020 was a rough one.
Yeah.
So what were you doing before you started doing what you're doing now?
Yeah. So for 30 years, I have been in direct sales.
Hmm.
So I left a corporate job 30 years prior to work from home so I could be there with my son.
Hmm.
And also have a teenage daughter. So I wanted to just do the things that I never got to do with her. And so that's what I did. And I worked from home and it was amazing. And I had all the flexibility and the freedom to do the things that I wanted and things that were important to me. But what happened was when he was, graduating from high school and he went to college and then he went to grad school and then he got married during that time, but just before grad school. And I just was like, I don't need to do this anymore. Like that's over. And as much as I loved it, I knew I wanted more. I knew I was made for more. And I
Mhm.
felt like, and I think I said this in the questions, but I felt like I was settling because I knew I could do more.
Mhm.
But it wasn't the time yet. But then I was like, now's the time.
Yeah.
So that was super cool.
Yeah.
And it was hard. We'll talk about that. Right? Yeah, that was a hard transition,
It
really
is
hard.
it is a hard transition because you have to now start to sort through everything and figure out what stays, what goes, like and for many of us, it's the first time that we actually have the space to like really ask the question, what do I actually want?
Yes. And is what I'm doing right now going to take me there?
Yeah.
And the people that I'm associating with, is that going to get me there? And are those people going with me? Or
Yeah.
do I have to leave? And this is so hard because, you have to let go of the good to get the great. Right.
Yes.
So you have to like assess every part of that. The thought process, the mindset, the work ethic, the people that are around you that you allow into your space. You really have to look at that. And it doesn't mean that their people are good or not good. It's, are these people going with me?
Yeah.
Right. And most of the time, it's the people that make that decision.
Yeah.
You can tell that they're not going with you. The way you can tell is because they're trying to keep you from going.
Yeah, hold it
And so
onto
if
your
you're,
feet.
yes, if you're wondering, hey, how do I know? Oh, girl, you'll know.
You know.
It's like a tether, right? Like, and so I think that's a big thing. And for me, and for being in direct sales for 30 years as a top leader, I was in the top 1% that entire time of the company. And I was telling people this is the best opportunity out there for women. And
Mhm.
guess what? It was.
Yeah.
But it was until it wasn't anymore,
Yeah.
right? So it was what I needed at the time. And so I still will tell people, like, maybe you should consider
Mhm.
something like that, like something work from home and, multi-level marketing or direct sales. But here I had built this entire community for 30 years.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm leaving. And that was the biggest struggle of all. And
Mm.
it took me several years to actually do it because I really felt, I'm very loyal to my own detriment. And I really felt like I was letting them down or that I was not being authentic or honest because I was going to leave after I had convinced them that
It
it was the
really it
best
it
thing.
really kicks up the who do I think I am
Yeah.
gremlins, doesn't it? And
Yeah, it does. It does. And I had a pivotal moment in that time of thinking, who do I think I am at this age, at in my 50s, to make an entire career switch. So I went from like direct sales to, I was always a coach and I've always been certified as a coach because I always wanted to be better for my people. So I
mhm,
always wanted to be on top of all of that and coach them at the highest level. But then I went off to start my own coaching company. And then I went even further to what I do now. And the big question was, who do I think I am at this age? Like I'm too, oh, we always say do this to
yeah,
ourselves, right? We're too old. We're not good enough,
mhm,
whatever. And I had this moment where my grandmother, I didn't know she was a nurse when I was young because she wasn't a nurse when I was there.
mhm,
So I never knew that. And then when she passed away, I got her medical books from my dad. Well, actually, when he passed away, so that was in 2010. And one day I was like in this place of like, I can't do this. And who do I think I am? And I went and got her medical books and I started flipping through them. And in that moment, I realized in those medical books, you would take your tests in the book and they would grade it and date it. Well, when I did the math, I realized that my grandmom didn't go to nursing school until she was in her 50s
oh,
because she
wow.
she had my dad when she was in her early 30s. And when he turned 18, he went off and went into the Marines. And that's when she went into nursing school and became a nurse. So I did the math and I was like, OMG, she was in her mid 50s, the same exact age I was when I
Mm,
was asking myself, who am I to do this?
yeah.
And it was like grandmom came down from heaven and patted me on the shoulder and said, honey, I know how you're feeling. And I'm telling you, you can do this. You can do whatever you want. And that opened the doors for me, Donna.
Wow.
And yeah, it was amazing. I didn't know I needed permission, but I think I did. I needed that message to come from her to tell me that it was okay.
I wouldn't say it's so much permission, but she opened that door for you.
She did, and she gave me the belief. Like she's, and I think I want to bring this to the women's attention. We don't understand how powerful we are.
Mhm.
She had been gone since the 70s. She passed away in like 1978. And here we were in the year of like 20 or I don't know what it was, 2017, 2016. And here she is still having an impact on my life. And I think we need to take a moment to realize how powerful we are and the legacy and the messages that we're leaving behind to those that are coming after us in our lineage.
It's so true. And because primarily we're working alone, we're in our houses or wherever we might be, but we're not, you know, in with people like in an office the way we used to be. And we forget like what we do reaches out into the world, and
It does.
we're sitting here 7, 8, 9, 10 hours a day sometimes just working nonstop and forgetting that like on the other side of this screen is an entire world of people that like we never know who's going to see our stuff. We never know who's going to hear us. And
Yeah.
I mean, it's all recorded. So it could be today, it could be next week, it could be in 10 years. We just
That's
don't
right.
know.
That's
And,
right.
that is just so humbling when we stop to think about it.
I agree 100%. I think she was born in like 1907. Do you think
Mhm.
she was ever thinking about what was happening in 2017?
Oh God,
No,
no. That was the
she was just
Jetsons.
she she was just living her best life. And I think like we need to do that. That's what we need. That's what we're summoned to do
Yeah.
is follow our dreams, believe in ourselves, surround ourselves with people that cheer us on and live our best life because somebody's watching.
Yeah, totally. And what I love about this community is we're now at 100 women. Yay! And we also, last week was our 50th weekly interview. We have not
Amazing.
missed one.
That's
I missed
amazing.
one because I had a
Congratulations.
surgical procedure, but other than that, but I had
Oh,
somebody sit in and do the interview for me. But other than that, I have been here every Wednesday at noon Eastern time to interview another incredible woman. But I was sitting here one day working and beating myself up. I was in a deep wallow of the eye sucks. And I was like, well, Donna, when are you gonna stop? Like, when are you just gonna settle and just do one thing? And you're almost 60 years old and cut this out. And I was having this whole rant with myself. And then I got on a call to interview one of these women who was in her mid to late 70s, who was doing the exact same thing, but with an enormous smile on her face and like this joy emanating out of every pore in her body. And I was like, well, if she can do it, I could do it. She's got like years on me and she's still reinventing and doing and like and has to run because she's gonna go jump on a trampoline with her grandchildren. And I was just so in awe of this woman and nothing was stopping her. She's like 78 years old.
that's how you want to live, right? Like when we get to the finish line, we want to be smoking. We want to have
Yeah,
nothing left inside of us,
nothing
right?
left. And
Nothing left.
every woman from this community has reached a point where they had some kind of successful career, whatever it might be, and they just decided, well, you know what? This isn't working for me anymore, so I'm going to do what I want to do. And this is one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about because I know that this is really important in your work and in your community as well, is that you help women build their businesses and their podcasts and amplify their voices around the things that they're passionate about.
It is my greatest joy in the world. to be able to do that and to be able to just, it's almost like ushering someone through this program, and it happens so fast that they don't even have time to have the normal fears, right?
Mm.
Or resistance that you would normally have as you're going through such a transition. But it is the most amazing thing to see them come out the other side where they're nervous and doubting themselves and, trying to sabotage themselves, right? Because they get scared, and, you know, then they just emerge, and it is the most amazing thing to see them. You forget what they were like. They forget what they were like before
Well, you know what?
because
That's so funny that you say that, because what I've gotten from now having 50 of these conversations, you're 51, and what's been so incredibly interesting is that it's not really a transformation. It's a remembering. It's a finding those parts that you lost along the way because you were too busy doing something else or taking care of someone or, trudging through something you didn't want to do. And like all of your focus was on getting through this thing you didn't want to do.
Well, I
Um,
love that you're saying that because, I always use the example of the Wizard of Oz, where at the
yeah,
end, that Dorothy finds out that she always had what she needed, right?
yeah,
But she was searching for it. And I think that's how we live as women. We're
yeah,
constantly searching, and it is within us, but sometimes we have to go through the transformation that brings it forth so that we can really tap into that power. And I
totally.
think that that's the reminder right there, is that you already have what you need. Stop
Yeah,
searching, right? Let's
right,
just tap into it
yeah.
and
And
step into that version.
and that's also the moment when you realize that nobody has the answers for you. You have, I mean, you can get guidance and you can tap in to other people's experiences and uh, but nobody's going to come to you with the answers. You have to go inside and get those answers and then
So
align them
true.
with the right people that can help you make something that you want to do bigger.
Yeah, and that's where coaching comes in, right? Because we're not giving the answers. We're on a discovery. We're on a discovery journey to help them find their own answers and
Yeah,
really tap into that. And there's just no greater joy
yeah.
than to see that happen. And I've had the privilege of doing that for many years.
So now you mentioned your program. Let's talk a little bit about that and what
Oh,
that is.
sure. So, yeah, so we have the She's Invincible podcast school, and we have a 30-day program where we walk entrepreneurs through this program step by step. We teach them everything. They go through a class with other students. So, they typically will have up to 10 students in the class, and they all launch together at the end of the 30-day period. And it is amazing. And they launch into a top ranked podcast. Everyone that we've ever launched has been top ranked on iTunes. Many of them have been ranked in 8 or more categories. A few of them have taken number one spots, and many of them have been in 4 or 5 different countries in top ranks, including, of course, first the US and then other countries. And then we teach them how to monetize that. So if they already have a business, we teach them how to make their podcast a monetization machine so that they can have the right conversations with the right people at
Mhm.
the right time and attract their ideal clients. So we teach a lot about monetization, about the messaging and the conversations that you're having. It's amazing.
That sounds amazing. And you also have your own podcast. She's Invincible.
I do, and it's ranking right now in the top 0.5%
Wow.
globally. So of all podcasts everywhere. And yeah, it's amazing. I started that 3.5 years ago. It's actually it's 2020. So it's going on 4 years now. There's an epiphany. It's going to be 4 years in March. We launched 11 days before the pandemic shut us down. And it was unbelievable. And when I talk about transformation, I honestly can say, like, that's where I was transformed.
Mhm.
That's where I started becoming a believer. And all of a sudden I was singing that song, I'm a believer, because I got to see it for myself. And I took that step, that walk of faith, and I launched that top podcast, and everything changed. And I loved it. And that really is what really took me in the direction of the podcast school.
Mhm.
I just was so excited about the launch and the transformation and how it transformed me and my business and how it could help others. And that's really what drove me to start the school.
And then you've also taken it to a TV station as well,
I
a TV
have,
network.
yes. So we are on Phoenix TV, and we're streaming in 100 countries. We have over 20 million reach, and it's amazing. We've been, streaming our messages in Pakistan, where women don't really have the same kind of permissions and rights that we have here in the U.S. It's been streaming all over the world, and I just think I chuckle. I think, yeah, those Pakistani men are going to work every day and they think their wives are home doing whatever they're supposed to be doing. And meanwhile,
They're
they're
listening
listening
to
to She's
you.
Invincible in the kitchen. And I love that because like I am so driven by impact. I could care
Yeah.
less about income. I mean, I get it. I've got to pay my bills, whatever, but I am on fire about impact. And to think that there are women in Pakistan and India and all these places that are listening and being encouraged to live and run for their dreams and to not take any stuff
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
anybody and
Just
to
that there's
believe in
possibilities.
themselves. Yes. And that we're pouring this belief and we're sharing these obstacles that these women have overcome so that we can encourage these other women to say it doesn't matter
Yeah.
where you are or how you feel, just get back up because you can
Yeah.
do anything. And I get goosebumps. I have them right now, just even thinking about the impact that we make in these messages.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, just in the 1 year that I've been doing this, I have gotten such beautiful messages and instant messages and voicemails. I mean, just people reaching out or somebody reaching out to me because somebody else told them about this, or somebody will come to one of the interviews and they'll bring two people with them, and that's the thing that gets me so excited because, like, tell somebody else, bring one other
Yeah.
person, bring two other people, bring three other people because you're going to
Yeah.
hear something that you need to hear.
100%. I mean, we do that on the podcast. We're like, if you like this episode, share it with a friend, right? Like help somebody else. Let's encourage each other. And I
Yes.
think that's, as women, I think we need to continue to do better to build each other up and stop comparing ourselves to each other. We're always coming up short when we do that. We need to stop that. We need to look at ourselves. We're here for a reason, and no one can do what we're here to do the way that we do it.
Mm-mm.
And we got to be the best us we can be. You can't be, the next best Donna or the next best Kamie. You have to do what you're called to do and do it the best way that you can. Your people are looking for you, and you need to put yourself out there so they can find you.
Yeah. And you're also a new author.
I am. I know my bio just got bigger this week, and I'm so excited about that. This was such an honor to be a part of this marketing book and to be the only podcaster,
Mm.
which is just, I'm over the moon. If you know me, you know. If you know, you know. To be in a book, first of all, heart-centered marketing, like the heart emojis are my favorite overused
Mm.
ones. I even have it in my signature logo. That's the I is dotted with a heart. But to be heart centered and, podcasting is the number one preferred way of marketing right now and advertising in the world for business owners and entrepreneurs. So to be able to be included and be able to share about podcasting in a book like that with 20 other amazing entrepreneurs, I want to kiss the ground, right? I'm like, is this real? Pinch me. How did this happen? Right? Like, it's like all of a sudden, everything you ever dream of starts happening. And you're like, how did this happen? It happens because you never give up and that you never stop believing and you always keep working, even when it doesn't look like it's going to happen for you. And
Mm.
the doors open. And the only way you don't win is if you give up.
Yeah.
That's it. And I mean, honestly, that's what I have to say. I have two other books in me, but this just the moon and the stars aligned. And this was the perfect first one for me. And
Mm.
I'm just so grateful.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's
It
amazing.
is. And and it's today, and it's all women, right? So it's all women, and it's not old school stuff. We're not teaching old tactics. We're teaching 2024.
Yeah.
Get the book, read it. It is your guide to help you soar in this new year of 2024. I didn't even mean to make that rhyme, but it's true. And these are the, I think sometimes we read the old stuff and sometimes we have to update that,
Yeah.
and this is updated. It's as updated as you're going to get. So I'm thrilled about it.
That's great. Okay, so I always wrap up these interviews with a wisdom bomb. So what do you want to leave? What do you want to leave everybody with? Just a
Oh,
little bit of maybe something actionable that they could do, or something that really, really is meaningful to you.
honestly, I think a lot of what I wanted to say, I've already mentioned, and the stop comparing yourself and the never giving up. But I think that's the key. The reason why my brand is She's Invincible is because I really look at life as rounds of boxing, right? They're like seasons of life or like rounds of boxing. You go in, you're going to get your butt kicked. You're going to get knocked down. Nobody's soaring to the top here. That's all facade. And so the thing about it is you just need to get back up. And invincible to us is not winning. If it was winning, we would be called undefeated, right?
Mm.
Invincible is never giving up, never being overtaken or overcome. And I think that we always think we're alone, right? We always think it's only me. Like you said, you were feeling that way. And then you find out like your friend and her kids going to college too. And,
Mm-mm.
like people are thinking they're alone, and it's because we isolate ourselves and we don't talk about it. And that's why She's Invincible. We talk about it. We share the success, but we also share the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think we need to do that more. I think we need to be more authentic. I think we need to be really choosy about who we hang around and who we allow in our space. And I think we need to stop feeling sorry for ourselves, and we need to shake it off and get back up. And I feel like that's like a little bit of Taylor Swift and a little bit of me.
Mhm.
So
And
it's
I'm gonna throw a little Brene Brown on top of that, where she does not want to be, she doesn't want to know people that are not in the arena.
Oh, that's one of my favorite quotes. If you're not in the arena getting your ass kicked,
Yeah.
I do not want to hear what you have to say about or whatever your opinion is. Oh my gosh, it's my favorite. And it reminds me of that too with the boxing gloves.
Mhm.
But really, the gloves are just to remind you that the next season is coming, just like the next round, and the bell's going to ring. And you got to decide what the next one's going to look like. You can either just lay there and give up, or you can get back up and you can get back in the ring and you can fight the next fight. But I really think that, in this brand and in life in general, the only way you lose is if you give up, and
Mhm.
you will always win if you get back up.
Yeah.
And that's my wisdom.
Yeah. And usually when you're at that point, something happens that you weren't expecting.
You transform.
Yeah.
Amazing things happen. You're like, who did that? Oh my gosh.
It was
Like
me.
that was me, right? Like you learn more and more about yourself. And getting back up is like a muscle. The more you work it, the stronger it gets. So what I find is that, and I feel like when you do go down, I think you need to count like the referee
Mhm.
does, right? They
Mhm.
count, and you can't stay down longer than 10.
No.
So, and I think that we need to do that for ourselves. We need to be the referee. And I think each time we get back up, we stay down less and less,
Yeah.
right? We bounce back so much better. And I think we just need to practice. And as you mentioned, there's so many great people out there. Like Mel Robbins does the 5 4 3 2 1, right? Like I think we just need to self-coach
Mhm.
ourselves through the hard times
Yeah.
and keep going. That's
Yeah.
the only way.
And it gets easier because you have evidence that you can actually live through this one, or you can get through this, or there's something after this.
Yes, and
You
have you
have that
seen that
evidence.
quote? Like, I've gotten out of this 100% of the time, right? I've made it 100% of the time so far.
Yeah.
Like, and yes, and that's you're building your resume and you're building your belief muscle,
Yeah.
and
You're resilient.
yeah, you do become resilient. And a lot of people, when I ask them what makes them invincible, they say resilience, that
Yeah.
they're very resilient. And I think the more you practice, the better you get.
Yeah.
But you just can't
Amen.
stay down.
Amen, sister. All right.
Yes.
So for International Women's Day. This is the symbol on their website to do a little heart. So do a little heart. Yay.
That's for our heart-centered marketing book too, right?
Yep,
That's
that too.
awesome. That's awesome.
So thank you, Miss 100.
Oh my gosh, it's such an honor. I told you, I'd like my goal is to live to be 100. So this was already there. I manifested this. I have a lot of life left if that's the case, and I'm
Yeah,
super excited
you're
about
not
it.
done yet. You've got things to do.
I am not done. This is just the beginning. This is really just the beginning. Thank you so much, Donna.
Well, thank you. And everybody, please, if you've got comments, tag us, come back. We're going to be doing all kinds of things for International Women's Month. We've got all 100 women contributing in one way or another, and I'll be sharing something every day, sometimes more than once a day throughout the month. And we have our wisdom panel coming up for the topic is women's leadership. And I'm also going to be hosting a roundtable this month to talk about the intersection of women's leadership and visibility. So we've got lots of things happening, and we've got interviews every Wednesday at noon. And this was just a little bonus because Kamie's number 100, and I'm so excited about that.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited too. And be sure to get your copy of Heart-Centered Marketing.
Yes, everything you can on the 50 over the Real 50 over 50 website, which is thereal50over50.com. Kamie has a page on there, and there'll be links to everything on that page. So you can access her website, her podcast, the book, and all of the other things that she does.
Thank you so much, Donna.
Thank you.